seems. Number 6. Benagil Sea Cave Beach, Portugal. If you've been searching for somewhere with crystal clear water, perfect sand, and isolation from the rest of the world, then the Benagil Sea Cave Beach in Portugal is ideal. It's on the Algarve, and thanks to the soft rock formations in the area, the tidal forces have carved incredible structures with arches and a giant skylight, with a beach nestled inside. It almost looks as if Neptune himself created this idyllic getaway, and it provides the perfect relaxing retreat. When the sun shines in, it illuminates the amber hues and the layered walls, and it's much larger inside than you'd think when looking at it from a distance. The thing that makes it special is that you can't simply walk there. The only way to access it is through one of the arches in the sea. This means you need a kayak or a boat to get there, and there's never too many people who have made the trip on any given day. Number 5. Whitehaven Beach, Australia. If you're looking for crystal white sands and turquoise-colored sea, then there's simply no better place in the world to visit than Whitehaven Beach. The 4.3-mile-long stretch of coastline is on Whitsunday Island in Australia, which is amongst the Great Barrier Reef and means the water is teeming with life. The reason why the sand is so spectacular is because of its extremely high silica content. Unusually, none of the local rocks contain silica, so it's thought that all of the sand has been washed in by sea currents over millions of years. This has made it take on properties far different from what you might be used to. And it's known for its inability to absorb heat, so no matter how hot the day is, you'll still be able to walk across the beach barefoot without any problems. It's so finely ground, though, that it has a habit of getting everywhere and can cause particular problems for electronic equipment. It's rumored, though, that the sand is such good quality that it was actually used by NASA to produce the glass for the Hubble Space Telescope in the 1970s. Aerial shots of the bay are stunning and show the way the ocean is pushing the sand up into the cove. It's now such an important place for local tourism that rules are in place to help preserve it for years to come. While you are allowed to have a barbecue as long as you take all the trash home with you, dogs and smoking are expressly banned to prevent the sand from becoming tarnished. Number 4. The Bomb Blast Beach, Mexico. Most beaches have been formed over thousands of years from the action of the waves lashing against the coast, but there's one in Mexico that was created much more recently, and rather being a product of nature, this one has its roots in human activity. Located in Puerto Vallarta on the Marietta Islands, which are just a few miles off the coast of Mexico, Playa de Amor, which means the Love Beach, has become increasingly popular over the last few years thanks to its stunning vistas and perfect Instagram moments. The hidden beach lies within a strange-shaped opening in the ground, and if this doesn't look to you like a natural feature, then you'd be right. The islands used to be a testing ground for the Mexican military, and this is a crater formed by the detonation of a bomb. The only way to access it is by a short swim through a tunnel, and while you're there, you'll witness countless different species of marine wildlife, like humpback whales, dolphins, and manta rays. With such escalating interest from visitors wanting their own chance to relax on the secluded island, authorities have stepped in to ensure the beach is preserved, as the island chain has also been designated as a protective nature reserve. You must have a permit to even travel to the island, and the number that are granted each year are strictly limited. If you're lucky enough to get one, though, this is guaranteed to be an experience that you'll never forget. Number 3. Pink Sand Beach, Bahamas. The Bahamas are known for their incredible weather, azure waters, and perfect beaches. But there's one place that's become famous for the way it stands out above the rest. On the coast of Harbor Island is a beach where, instead of being white or golden yellow, the sand has a slight pink tint to it. You may have seen images of this before and assume that the pink hues are a result of camera trickery. While it's true that visitors often add filters to try to make the beach appear far more vivid than it is in real life, the true color is still quite impressive. The effect is present along the entire 3-mile-long and 100-foot-wide beach, and it happened because of a specific species of animal that lives on the reef, called Foraminifera. These microscopic insects feed off the coral and have shells that are either bright pink or red in color. They're one of the most prevalent organisms in the ocean, but because Harbor Island is surrounded by such a vast reef that's not far offshore, it has one of the densest populations of this particular pink-colored species in the world. Once they've reached the end of their lives, the currents and waves crush the shells and wash them ashore, where they're mixed in with sand and pieces of coral on the beach. The color is most pronounced at the water's edge along the sand, and while technically you're walking across crushed remains of small insects, a trip to this beach has to be on the bucket list of any self-respecting world traveler. Number 2. Hot Water Beach, New Zealand. New Zealand is one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and with such mountainous and lush landscapes, it's no wonder that so many movies choose it as the place for filming. There's far more to the country than the peaks and forests, though, and Hot Water Beach, which is on the Coromandel Peninsula, is one of the most popular tourist destinations. Located just over 100 miles from the city of Auckland, it's estimated that as many as 700,000 people make the trip there each year. New Zealand is covered in hotspots of geothermal vents, and that's what causes the unique environment on this beach. The Waikato region where it is full of pools and salt flats, and the beach offers one of the most unusual interactions visitors can have with hot springs. 2 hours either side of low tide, you can dig into the sand and release hot water, which continues to bubble up and can be used to create your very own pool. There are 2 underground fissures where the water flows from, and the water can reach temperatures of up to 147 degrees Fahrenheit. Large groups of people will often work together to make huge hot tubs in the sand, and it's such a popular and easy activity that there are even kiosks on the beach where you can hire a shovel to dig out your own design. While you may not immediately think of going to a beach on a cold or rainy day, this place is certainly an exception, because that's almost the ideal conditions to visit. There are, however, warnings in place for anyone wanting to dig a pool, and that's to be very careful you're thinking of swimming in the ocean. There are powerful riptides and deep water currents, which means that however tempting it may be to take a dip to cool off, there are only specific parts of the beach that are safe to do so. Nevertheless, if you love digging holes on the beach and relaxing in hot geothermal waters, there's nowhere else in the world that's quite like it. So if you're in the area, it's well worth a visit. Number 1. Pfeiffer Beach, California. Pfeiffer Beach is on the coast of Big Sur in California, and it's one of the most unusual beaches in the continental US. Rather than having golden or white sand, the deposits there have a distinct purple coloration to it, which leads to the formation of some incredible patterns and shapes. Not all of the sand is this color, which further adds to the beauty of it. The waves continually move it around, and no 2 days are ever the same. The reason for it is because of the presence of manganese garnet in the rocks and cliffs around the beach, and the action of the sea against them both makes it crumble away, grinds it into a fine sand, and then deposits it onto the beach. The beach is accessible all throughout the year, but for a particularly special time, it's best seen during sunrise or sunset.